Hello, found footage fans, and welcome to We Found a Tape. Join us as we hit play and uncover what lies beyond the tape. Hello, found footage fans. Welcome to another brand new episode of We Found a Tape. Today, we're talking about a screen life film, which for me is actually one of my favorites. And it was actually brought up recently by Chris Vanderkay, our good friend, Chris Vanderkay, was talking about recently. And this week, we're going to be talking about Unfriended Dark Web.
Yes, indeedy. Everybody get on your digital boat, and we're going down the river Styx.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Because they do go down the river.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, they do.
So this came out in 2018, directed by Steven Susko. And then to date, this is actually Steven Susko's only film that he's directed. He's actually a screenwriter.
Oh, he's a screenwriter. Okay.
He's a screenwriter.
I mean, to be honest, he should make more movies because, I mean, it is one of my favorites. I mean, it's something that, it's one of those like comfort movies that you have that you'll revisit just because I don't know, it just resonates with you.
Right. Yeah. No, apparently he fully planned on doing another sequel to it. I guess it just never materialized. I think honestly, both films were done really well. I wasn't a huge fan of the ghost or entity aspect of the first one, but for the most part, like the actual like vehicle of them using like a chat system and it's all through like a computer screen is one of the best and most immersive, especially if you watch them on laptops. It's very immersive when you do that, and it's definitely a more modern storytelling method, but it's also current with the way that people communicate for the most part, especially during COVID. And I think that's why Host did so well, was because of that. It really leaned into that. And screen lives are some of my favorites. I think I've said that a few times now, actually.
Yeah. I mean, some of them are pretty well. I mean, they've all been pretty good now that I think about it, because Deadstream was a good one.
Deadstream was a good one.
What did you just say right now before?
Unfriended was one. Host was one.
Host. I don't know why that escaped my brain. Host was a very good one. I really hoped that they were going to make a sequel for this one. Different set of people. Now that the demon's been manifested, it's out in the world, and it's out there just flooding you with spam and pornography emails. Get your Viagra pills. Mwahahaha.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I don't think that one needs a sequel. I thought that was really incredibly good on its own because it fit the specs of a Zoom free trial, which a lot of people were using back when COVID was happening. So it was the runtime of the film was within that free trial period, which I always loved that attention to detail. I think it's so cool.
I think my manifest of things is like a long game thing, but it eventually pays off because for so many years I was just like, come on, let there be another As Above, So Below, and now we're getting one. And then, I saw Backrooms when, Kane Parsons was just putting out those little videos before a movie was even talked about, and like, let's do a movie, and movies come out. Yeah. So
hell yeah. No, it's definitely good to manifest it, because I think especially nowadays, like, a lot of movies are just either sequels, requels, prequels, shriquels,
Sweet and Low, whatever.
Grequels, all the quals are what happens nowadays. So yeah, I mean, I really think if there's ever a movie that you're wanting found footage or not, definitely manifested because it's happening. You know, they're making a sequel to It Follows. So,
Oh, really?
yeah, it comes out this year or next year, maybe. With I guess with I think pretty sure it's the same cast. Micah Monroe's definitely attached to it. So,
Right on.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
just saw the trailer today for Creep Tapes season 3.
Oh yeah, I saw that too. That was awesome.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for season 3 to come out. I love those. That's another one that I'm really eagerly awaiting a third film for sure.
The yeah, that one's gonna be very
And
good.
that'll close it out. I think that would be good. Like I think they've both said in the past, like both Patrick Bryce and Mark Duplass, they've said that they like never intended for it to be anything other than a one and done type thing, and everyone just fell in love with Joseph as a character and like how odd and strange and how cathartic and how weird.
It's just so weird how in the beginning he's just so like, he reels you in with the questions and everything, and then he starts asking you to do one weird thing, and one weird thing turns into 10 weird things, and before you know, you're getting chased through the fucking forest late at night and getting an axe in your brain while you're sitting in the park enjoying some water.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But I mean, yeah, it just goes to show that he controls all situations. So it's a game to him realistically. But yeah, I really enjoyed Creep Tapes season 1 and 2. So to see that there's a third one coming out with a lot more in terms of cast and some new appearances and things like that, I think it's going to be quite an interesting one.
Is Justin Long making an appearance?
No, but Kate Siegel is making an appearance.
Oh yeah,
she was in Hush, that movie Hush. She was Haunting of Hill House. She's married to Mike Flanagan. She's going to be in it, I believe. And Elliot Fulham, I think his name is, who was in the recent Terrifier film. He's like the younger brother of the main character in the sequels, right? That's really fighting hard against them.
Right.
It's her little brother. So he's apparently making a cameo in one of the episodes, which is interesting. So yeah, I'm always excited to see new highbrow found footage for sure.
Yes, indeed. Well, let's get back to the matter at hand here. Let's talk about Unfriended Dark Web. We went way off the path here for a moment, but it's all right though.
But it's good. Do you know what's funny?
Nonsense.
What's funny though, David, is I went for a shower earlier and I was thinking of ideas of things to talk about in the show, and I had an odd thought to myself of like talking about recent sort of found footage news.
Hold on, before you tell me that, what body part were you washing when you became aware of this idea?
I mean, I was just standing in the shower at that point.
Okay.
I was rinsing. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, this was a full body experience.
No,
Okay,
it wasn't anything like that.
I was like, maybe you were like scrubbing a toe or something, and it's like light bulb.
No, it's a great place to manifest ideas and think of things, because it's just you in there and you're washing yourself and you're
it really is, and I'm gonna tell you why. So I've recently invested in a stool, like a shower stool, not like a medical chair, right? It's like a stool that has like a shelf on the bottom, like you can put like shampoos and shit, but it's like a little stool, right? Now when I go in the shower, like I'll do my business and everything that I'm doing in the cleaning, but when I'm doing my hair, I'll sit down and I'll just let the water run on me like a waterfall while I'm washing my hair, and I'll just sit there and I'll chill and I'll think while the water's hitting me, and it's very relaxing, very calming. So if you don't own a stool for your shower, I mean, just chill in the shower. It's fucking fantastic. Or if you have a tub, just lay in the tub. But what I'm trying to say is enjoy the shower.
Yeah. We went way off topic with that one, but that's fine.
No. We're
like it was funny. So it really came full circle, which is great. But yeah, Unfriended Dark Web came out 2018. Steven Susko, his only film. He was a screenwriter for, I think it was The Grudge, the American Grudge, that was released with Sarah Michelle Gellar. He was a screenwriter on that and a few others. I didn't look it up too much, but I did note that this was produced by Blumhouse Tilt. They were producing a number of films back in the day of like an offshoot of Blumhouse, where they could get, I guess this was their a bit more experimental type stuff, where it wasn't like your typical Blumhouse, as we know now anyway. So it was through Blumhouse Tilt. It had $1 million budget and it made 16.4. So that would be considered a success. I mean,
yeah.
I think it definitely got mixed reviews from the general population.
I think there's a fair amount of people out there that aren't into found footage as the rest of us are, so it just doesn't resonate with them. You know, it's kind of like they're expecting like high budget, you know.
Right.
And to be fair, it was a high budget, right? But you know what I mean? Like they expect, I mean, pick any fucking top tier horror movie. You can pick Terrifier, whatever, you know.
Yeah, I think especially when like this came out in the theater, so there definitely was a theater release for this one, and ultimately, I think when people see horror movies in the theater, their expectation is jump scares, blood and guts, gore, or some sort of plot device. I think found footage is it's definitely a difficult film to watch in the movie theater. I think the most prominent or easy to watch found footage is like a mockumentary. So like Strange Harvest, for example. I went to see Hunting Matthew Nichols, though that was very good in the movie theater. But like things like Blair Witch, Paranormal Activity was actually pretty good in the movie theater. It wasn't like there wasn't a lot of running around and stuff, mostly static. But this is one that actually it does translate well to the screen. It's just weird seeing a computer screen on the big screen, like someone's just plugged their MacBook into a projector and put it onto this massive screen. It's kind of like a funny way of thinking it for going to see it in the movie theater.
I can see that.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that. There's not a lot of like crazy motion sickness camera movement like with Blair Witch and things like that. So, but yeah, I think with found footage in general, there is that hit or miss element. Some people love it, like us. Some people hate it, like others. And yeah, it's sometimes it's fun to go. I definitely think it's fun to go see though. It's definitely worth the watch.
Oh yeah,
whenever there's found footage in the movie theater for sure. But the probably the most interesting thing about this film is the fact that there's 3 documented endings to it. We'll definitely go into them more as we talk about the film and go through the endings. We'll analyze them a bit more. But a couple of facts before we get into actually the overall thing about the movie. The character of Amaya, I don't know if you know this, but the character of Amaya, who's the deaf girl that is Matthias's girlfriend, she's actually deaf. So
oh wow,
she speaks ASL. So she when she was signing in the film, it was legit. Like she was deaf.
What does ASL stand for? Because if you're
American
90s
Sign Language.
Oh, okay, because if you're a 90s kid like me, it's like age, sex, location in the chat rooms.
Right. Yeah, true. No, it's
American Sign Language. Okay.
American Sign Language, yeah, is the is what that is. Because he said it a few times in the film. Because he's taking the ASL classes and things like that. The trailer was uploaded to the dark web by the director, which I think is hilarious. Good for you.
Good shit.
The original title for this film was called Unfriended Game Night. And it was changed to avoid confusion with another movie that was coming out that year called Game Night with Jason Bateman.
Oh yeah, yeah, I did see that one. That was a funny one.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the 3 endings. Apparently, there was 2 endings in the theatrical release, and they were screened randomly. The third one was only included in the Blu-ray release. But yeah, there was 2 that were circulating when the film came out, which it doesn't specify which. So I think depending on who you speak to will depend on what ending you saw. But as I said, Chris Van Der Kay was talking about it recently, and he was saying how people need to talk about it. So if one thing we listen and we talk about found footage that needs to be spoken about.
Absolutely.
And
yeah. This one is definitely one to talk about. But before we don't jump into that, let's do the synopsis. Let's hit them with that. But before we go into the synopsis, what was the shower idea?
Oh, just that it was for us to talk about found footage news. So like new things that are happening with found footage in terms of film releases or, people coming out with new found footage films, that sort of thing. I just had that idea, but I was like, oh, maybe that's something we can talk about, and never really put any other thought to it. And then you were like, oh yeah, Creep Tapes 3 is coming out. I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, continue with the synopsis.
Yeah, that was it. Like this guy was really obsessed with the thought of me in the shower, which is.
I mean, you say the best ideas come there, so I mean, I needed to know the scenario. What manifested this great idea?
Yeah, just it popped in my head. I was thinking. I was like, damn! Like today we got a lot of news. The Creep Tapes season 3 trailer came out. James Cullen Bressick's new film, I Have Proof, is going to be debuting at Fantastic Fest.
Nice.
So that's super cool. And then I think a bunch of movies that are debuting at Fantastic Fest all got released today or within the last couple of days. Resident Evil is going to be on there, which I'm really excited to see that. So.
Oh yeah. By the way, if you want some better ideas in the shower next time that you're in there, take a piece of cheese with you and just nibble on it while you're showering.
Take a piece of I'm not a mouse, David. I'm not going to take a piece of cheese in the shower.
You don't know what you're missing. You could have some dynamite ideas. I'm telling you, the greatest theories and ideas come to me when I'm nibbling on a piece of cheese while I'm lathering my ass cheeks with the other hand.
For some reason, I just picture you forgetting which hand, and you end up with cheese up your arse, and you're eating shower gel.
I mean, to be fair, you know what? To be fair, if you're in the shower and you've got to switch hands, you just put the piece of cheese in your mouth to hold it, and you switch hands, and you've got to. I mean, you rotate in the shower. You've got a different angle now, so now you've got it. But the good thing is the other hand is already sanitized because it has soap on it. So, food for thought.
Right. Yeah. Okay, everyone, if you do have a shower, try some butt cheese in the shower, and it will bring you good thoughts and good ideas.
A good Havarti or Munster cheese will suffice.
Got it. But yes, the synopsis.
Hit it.
Hell yeah. Unfriended Dark Web from 2018. After stealing a laptop from an internet cafe, Matthias brings his friends into a world that they were not expected to be part of.
Definitely not an expected thing. I mean, let's start right off the bat that Matthias is a goddamn liar, because he said that he went on Craigslist and fucking bought this computer, and then he had to fess up later on. Like, as far as any credibility that he has with his friends, he's just a goddamn liar now. Let's start with that.
Yeah, but I can see where he's coming from. I think out of necessity, he's, especially after the fact that when he does eventually like he was a bit late to tell everyone, which the circumstances of him finding the laptop are, they are a little questionable for sure. And I mean, you're not gonna go around to be, oh yes, I took this laptop. Like no, so he's like, oh yeah, I got it on Craigslist. Fair enough.
If I took a laptop from the cafe, you're the first phone call that I make. Be like, hey man, I just got this free laptop.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, no, if that was, I know for sure that would be the same situation if I had come into a secondhand MacBook Pro. I would I'd definitely let you know. But yeah, he said it was there for weeks, and that he was basically scoping it out and was at there anyway, and decided one of these days he was just like, I'm just gonna have that. No one's coming to get it, so I might as well take it. Little did he know. But one prominent theme throughout is definitely the theme of games, which on this watch, I definitely, knowing what I know, with the fact that it was going to be called Unfriended Game Night, the themes of like gamification or games in general are definitely prominent throughout, which is pretty interesting, because they're having their game night, which they're playing Cards Against Humanity, and before we start to really analyze the film, I'm curious: are they playing Cards Against Humanity correctly, where everyone reads their selection based on the question?
To be honest with you, I don't recall. I've played that game maybe once or twice so long ago. I don't remember the rules.
Well, anytime I've played it, basically, each person goes, they go in a circle rotation, they pick a card, a black card, they read it out, and then everyone gets a few moments to pick their answer, and the person who read it, they would basically like cover their eyes or look away, and everyone would put their cards in. They'd shuffle them a little bit, and then read them out, and then pick, and whoever they picked would get the points for that round. That's how I've always played it, but I never noticed it until watching this, that they play it differently. So I don't know if that's the real way of playing it or not. So anyone that is a Cards Against Humanity aficionado, please let us know in the comments, because I'm not certain.
As I watch this movie more and more through time, I can't help but analyze this from an IT person perspective. I'm like, as soon as the movie starts, I say it to myself in my head. It's like, Matthias, all you have to do is factory reset the computer, and we would have been good to go.
Yeah, that's true. Well, to be fair, Damon was the guy that they were playing with. He was a bit of a tech whiz.
Right.
He was the one that was sort of helping him go through it, and he could spot all the different coding elements that they were running and stuff. And he had a bit about him.
He's very familiar with the terminal commands.
True, yeah. So he's clearly a Mac user, which I know for a fact. Like, I haven't properly used a Mac in years, so I really wouldn't know what to do. So Windows, I'm more in line with Windows. They were running Ubuntu and Linux type commands, like fuck.
Some of those commands are wild, man. But I'll just say that, like, some of that shit is crazy. But yeah, that was like, I can't help but, like, working years in IT, that I can't help but think, why didn't you just factory reset? We wouldn't be in this situation. Everybody wouldn't be dead, but of course we wouldn't have a film now, would we?
Right. Yeah. That's very true. But yeah, it stays true to the screen life element, where the entire film is through the screen of Matthias, who as it starts off, it like boots up. You hear the Mac loading sound, which is always a fun touch. Like movies like Missing and Searching and all that, like they definitely rely on that technique as well. And to make a screen, like a lot of people think, oh yeah, just if you're going to make a screen life, you just screen record your laptop and then that's it. A lot of the time, that's actually elements that have been made by VFX. Like it's actually built to the specs of like a certain Mac OS. So like every button click is like configured into a timeline. So like the mouse itself could have like 5 different tracks. I saw an interview last year, maybe the year before, and it was talking to the film, like the editors for Searching, which is or Missing, whichever's the sequel to the John Cho film. I always get them mixed up. I think it's Searching. I think it's Searching.
Yeah, I think Missing was first, right?
Oh no, Searching was first, and Missing I think is second. Oh, either way, it was the same people that made it, right? So they showed you them going through the process of editing it, and they basically had to key in a lot of the like everything. Basically, they had to design it and key in all the graphic movements and like moving the screens about, like all that. Like that's a lot of work, and probably where a lot of this budget has gone to is the actual programming to basically build that in whatever software.
Yeah.
So that is a key thing. Like a lot of people, especially when it comes to like screen life as a storytelling technique, they just sort of think to themselves, "Oh yeah, that's probably one of the easier ones." It's probably one of the more difficult, to be fair, when it comes to it because of all of those elements. So definitely keep that in consideration whenever you're watching screen life films, for sure.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, as soon as he boots that fucker up, like it comes up, but it's got the question mark, and he's trying all these different passwords and QWERTY and 1 2 3 4 password 1.
Didn't he put like dickhead or something like that at some point?
Something like that, yeah. He was like just typing all this shit, and then like it dawned on him, and then he just puts in the question mark, and that's it. Like worst password ever. So very secure.
Or was it because he was trying every password except that one?
True, yeah.
Sometimes the passwords are just right there in front of your face, and you don't even know it until like you've like exhausted all things possible, and you're just sitting there and you're like, fuck it, let's try the username. And then boom, and you're like, what the shit? I spent 2 hours of my life trying to get into this computer, and I just should have typed the username.
There you go. But yeah, he like logs in right away, and he immediately installs his software that he's been building, the Papaya, which is it's an app that he's built in order to integrate with Facebook chat and Skype so that he can sign to his girlfriend, basically. Which, honestly, considering that he's probably spent, if he said he was going to the internet cafe to do the work on the app, and he was going there for weeks, you probably should have just went to the sign language classes, bro.
I mean, you find out, as we're going through, and he's having this conversation with Amaya, that something has gone afoot in this relationship. Like, there's something wrong here, obviously, because he's like desperately trying. He's being very needy, right, with all his messages, and she's just like avoiding him in the beginning, and then she finally tells him that it's not that it's not about her understanding him, it's about him understanding her. Yes. More for her. So that's like her thing, and he's not getting that, which is why she wanted him to go to the class, that way he could learn, so he can understand her. I mean, she can understand him just fine if she reads the lips and everything, she's got a way to communicate with him in the end, but he's not understanding that. Like, he just wants her to understand him. He's not, focused on what she wants too and shit like that. Which is another point that I want to make here. Like, I'm fully convinced Amaya didn't want to show up to the group chat. She was avoiding him. Like, that's all the telltale signs that she's sleeping with one of his friends in that group chat right there, and she just didn't want to make an appearance.
Yeah, I think that's probably a bit of a stretch. I think that type of drama was in the first film.
No,
in Unfriended. I think that more so that she didn't want to be there because she probably is someone that is deaf, right? She is the outsider. Like no one understands what she's saying because she only speaks in sign language. She can read everyone's lips. They can talk normally. They can talk to each other, but she can't like fully verbalize what she's saying. She has to, sign. So, yeah, I think that's probably the main reason, and that's probably the most upsetting part when you really think about it.
I don't know. I've watched a lot of cheating shows. I've watched a lot of Maury Povich.
Yeah. No, I think it's. Did you hear the alarm go off?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my second load of laundry.
But so a question I had here, and maybe I just didn't catch it. Are they doing this because COVID?
No, this was This was 2017, 2018. So that was before it. So they were just apart. Like at that point, she was at her place, he was at his place. They're all together across country. I think he's in New York, maybe maybe he's in California. But one of their friends was in LA. One of them was in London, so he was up late. The rest were all in relatively close proximity because at one point he was like, everyone go to AJ's when things start to hit the fan. So
right.
Yeah. Cool. But yeah, as he gets into the laptop and he starts to log into all this stuff, what he ends up seeing is he logs into the person's Facebook, or it's already logged in, and there's a bunch of messages to unsuspecting women that were expecting plane tickets and things like that, and
ladies of the night.
Yeah, so it was like, that's weird, like and yeah, then he just starts like logging in all this stuff, logs into the Wi-Fi, downloads the Papaya software, doing all that, and they end up, he gets online with his friends to do game night. And one thing that I noticed as soon as he jumps on game night, the couple, the lesbian couple, they are one of the women there. I don't know if you remember, she's from Get Out. She is the housemaid who is like,
okay.
Who's like, no. Yeah, when they're like, when he's like talking to her and stuff. I noticed her right away. A lot of the cast have all gone on to do like other films, which is great. It's always good to see when people do more films, especially after you're in like a movie like this.
Right.
You always hope it opens more doors, which is great. But yeah, so it's Nora C is prominent throughout. Nora C, the fourth. Yeah. So that's prominent throughout, and you don't really piece it together, but it's an I don't know, is that an acronym or an anagram? I don't know how you would, or palindrome or something like that, some sort of English word verbiage, where it's basically a word backwards, and it's Sharon or Charon.
The public school system has failed us, people.
I just don't think I remember.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's why I'm saying it's failed us, because I don't know either.
Yeah. But Charon, and that is the ferryman of Hades, is what they ultimately describe it as when they look it up, when they figure out as they're going through game night. There is that drama element, which the first one is definitely Unfriended, definitely has a lot more drama involved, where there's relationships and things like that between the people that are on the phone call, and there's definitely the teenage drama of that. This is a bit more older friends who are still meeting up even though they're in different locations, and they sort of stick to their traditions of having that game night. But things start to take a turn, especially when we find out that the laptop has like almost a terabyte worth of memory, but so it was starting to run a little slow and crashing. And that's when we find out about Damon and how Damon is the computer whiz, and he's like talking to him on the side, and he's like, "Oh yeah, download this program and it'll tell you what the files are, and like it'll find the hidden files." And we do that, and that's how we're able to see that whoever owned this laptop, Nora C or Charon 4, had some nefarious things happening. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, things do definitely take a turn.
Yeah, he was up to some nefarious things. He had like a cache of these like this like webcam footage and like different cameras and things like that. And they describe it as basically like hackers would drive around neighborhoods and try and like farm like all the different like networks to try and like basically hack them, and then take over the phone cameras, nanny cams, surveillance cameras, laptop cameras, things like that. Anything that's a webcam basically was taken over. So they just had this cache of information, and it had like addresses and things like that. And while they're exploring all of that, he starts to get a message from an Erica. Erica Dunn is the girl's name. That are more pointed towards,
yeah,
I know you. Who are you? And it's like
demanding for them to respond, like answer me now. And
yeah.
I
know you. I know you stole the laptop. And then he's just like, oh shit. So that's when he starts to interact, and that's when things take another frightening turn as we then start to find out more about, the Charon and and whilst that's all happening, Matthias the whole time he would just like put himself on mute or whatever, and like call Amaya and like message her, and like was not present for the game night. So they were all just talking away, and one of the couple gets engaged, and they then talk about her terminally ill mother. And one of the things I wrote down was AJ is the worst at reading the room, because he's like, oh, I remember I had to put my dog down, comparing that to her mother.
Everybody's all like, what?
Yeah. And I think it kind of does like lift the spirits of the room a little bit, because after that it's pretty tragic. So
yeah. But right at this point, I mean, a lot of things are going on. He's Matthias is trying to talk to Amaya. He's trying to figure out what's all these files about. There's the engagement, everybody's talking. There's a lot going on right here at this point. Like, there's just too many things going on at one time. It's like, what's happening here?
And that's when he's like telling them like, oh, I got it on Craigslist. And he's like, well, show me the ad then. And he's like, shit, got. So he's like, okay, I'll return it to where I left it. It's like, okay, fine. And it's at that point that's when that Facebook account gets a message asking if they received the funds and that they want another contribution, and that's when it starts a bit of a scarier turn, and that's when we find out that there is definitely something more
Sinister.
Sinister happening here. Really, where we find out more about the river. He asks them to talk on the river, and that's when he shares the screen and they start to show off that. And Sharon 68 is who he speaks with, and that's when they
never got to 69.
Yeah, that's AJ to a T in that.
Yeah.
But it's super creepy the way it happens, because it takes you to this like old, like, clearly it's like the dark web, and once he shares the screen and shows off what's happening, it's at this point really it's the rest of the film is just him sharing a screen to show the rest of the group what's happening. And we find out he wants trephination, which is where you bore a hole into someone's skull, and then he was saying more messed up stuff like make sure she's alive, make sure like get a mirror and like put stuff in it and all that, and it's like super messed up. And that's when everyone starts to freak out, like, you need to stop this right now, because he starts answering, fucking idiot.
Yeah,
it just gets everyone deeper and deeper into this whole thing.
He's so naive in this movie.
Absolutely. And it's from there that we then find out that so he goes to the guy who left the laptop there. He's like, oh, I'm at the place, you're not here. They know that you have the laptop, right? And things again start to, or no, at that point they don't know he has a laptop, because there's the point where he triggers all the Bitcoin and takes it out.
Right. He's using it as collateral because the guy said that, he can go pay Maya a visit.
Yes, and that's what triggers the circle to really get involved. But initially he's just like, okay. There's a call through to Amaya, and Amaya's friend or roommate or whoever comes, and she gets attacked and killed, and that's when he's told, like, she will die if you don't do it, so tell her to come to you, I'll follow her, you give me the laptop, she lives, type deal.
And it's right at this point, because he's already made the transaction, the change of the money. That's when one of the Cherons reach out to him, and it's like, why did you move money, or why did you move funds? And that's where we start getting into, the process of getting caught ultimately.
Yes. And once it gets to that point, it triggers the circle, and they ask him to recite the code. So like the guy like comes off, like he like reveals himself, and he's just like, listen, they're gonna kill me, they're gonna kill you, they're gonna kill everyone, like it doesn't even matter at this point, like. But he tells him the code to recite it, and he's like, does it need to be in all caps? He's like, just fucking recite the code.
Does it need to be in all
Mateus, man?
Oh my
God. And then that's when they ask him, like, there's a better exchange rate, you need to, it was Ethereum or whatever, and then everything goes dark, and it like closes out, and at that point they know that he has the laptop and things like that.
Here's my question: is the dark web really this interactive?
I don't know that it is. I think you need to know where to look in order to get, like, you have to download Tor in order to get to the dark web, and you also need to know the exact specific like websites to go to. It's like through like the Onion browser or whatever. Everything all goes through that. So you need to know where to look. Like you can't just go on and accidentally stumble on something, like click about. It's not as unless someone like installs a like that type of program, I guess. But I don't think it's that interactive.
Okay. Yeah. So as maybe in my teens and my early 20s, had I, had knowledge of the dark web, I definitely would have gone down that route because I was more curious then. But now I can't think of anything that would pique my interest to go on there. And like, I'm not looking for, a Bengali tiger, to purchase and show up in my house, in 3 or 4 days and raise it and to be my fucking house pet and shit. So,
yeah, no, that's for sure. Yeah, never went on it either. One thing that's quite interesting is I don't know if you ever, if you know the wrestler Shiloh Hill that's in NXT.
Yeah.
He actually went viral for doing like he basically did a series on his Instagram where he would go on the dark web and he would like look around and order things and like show you like basically for educational purposes type thing.
Right.
And he ended up having a bunch of like weird interactions because he bought this like pair of shoes and it had like blood in them and like
holy shit.
We were quite invested in it and it's quite interesting. So yeah, there was like a VHS tape and like things like that, and he was like super into that. So he went really viral for that. And at that point he was doing the LFG for the WWE competition. And now he's on NXT. So I mean it definitely served him well to go down that route because he basically got viral for non-wrestling. It was for him going down the dark web, and now he has like a creepy character and like things like that. So
maybe I'll retract my statement. Maybe I am curious. Maybe I would go on there to purchase weird random things like that. Maybe I'll purchase a Dybbuk box and see if there's something really inside.
There you go. Yeah, Chris Chambers and the Dybbuk box. Yeah, I mean that's really it's funny because like the purpose of him having the laptop, it was never, the intention was never to go on to the dark web or the deep web or dark net is what they call it in the film.
Right, it's just to work on his app.
Yeah, it was really just to work on his app to be able to get a better functioning computer, and so he didn't have to go to internet cafes and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, he totally took a left turn real fast.
Real. It really did.
Yeah, and from here, that's where we start to really ramp up, and all of the friends start to die off in really quite brutal ways. The one friend who's like the music producer or DJ or whatever, she like gets thrown out of her building. AJ gets
shot.
He gets swatted.
Yeah, he gets swatted.
Yeah, and then he's showing off his new massive speakers, so they like put the volume up max and like do the shotgun loading sound, and it's like the and they immediately just start firing. The brutal one for me is when they make her choose between her mum and her
that was a rough
one. And then she doesn't choose, which I think was stupid. Her mom is literally dying anyway. Like, pull the plug on your mom. Like, I know it's not the easiest decision, but I know that I would, especially if she's like terminally ill and like on life support, like that's not living at that point. I know I would have picked the alternative.
Agreed.
Right.
It's two people you love. I mean, ultimately, one has already got one foot out the door.
Right.
Not to say that harshly, but she's on her way out. If you were put in a life and death situation, I think I would have made the same decision. Would it have been easy? No, I wouldn't have been just like, yeah, my mom, just like, yeah, that's it.
Right.
It's definitely not an easy decision, but yeah, I mean, that's the choice I would have gone to.
Totally. Yeah. For me the same. And I mean, it backfires on her because then both of them die because they hack the fucking life support machine and it turns off and her mom just dies. And then the other one, like you could see the guy in the hood, and he's like fidgeting away, and then like gets the order, and then like fucking pushes her, but she fights back and pulls him, so they both go in front of the train.
Yeah,
So she
I
gets
saw
one of
that.
them at least.
Yeah, that's very true. What I and because it's a it's a screen life type thing, so a lot of digital fuzziness, but I like the mystique of it because it almost makes them seem like they have some kind of like paranormal power because they're just like appearing in random places. But of course, you find out later on that it is what it is. But um, I like that. It almost gave it kind of like an almost paranormalish kind of feeling to it. But of course, it wasn't.
Yeah, which kind of is almost like it's definitely like a more throwback to the first film when it comes to it, because that was more paranormal and it was like a ghost in the machine type scenario.
Right.
This was more so everything was like hacks and exploits, so they were running all this stuff and like hacking the signal and all that, and really everything up until the end for me, honestly, like I absolutely loved. I thought it was really engaging and really sort of crazy, all the stuff that was happening. A bit over the top for sure, but like the first movie was over the top as well. But it was executed very well. For me, I just wasn't a fan of the ending that I saw for sure. That wasn't my favorite one. Where, or even the elements of the ending, because we do have three to talk about. But the fact that Damon is then hung and he's in London, so I guess it shows the broad nature of it is that it reaches all the way to London, but um,
This is a very
big operation
big
is what's
operation.
happening
Yeah,
here. I guess,
Def-
yeah. I guess it's to
definitely global.
Show you that it's global, yeah. But it's like he dies in such a shitty way because they like make it look as if he's killed himself, and he writes
Right.
a suicide note, and um, ultimately, what we find out is that the the laptop was a ploy, and that Matthias was dumb enough to fall for it, and they left the laptop there on purpose to basically have a fall guy, which I thought was a little weak. I wasn't a fan of that. Like that portion of the ending, I wasn't a fan of it. I was just like, mm. And when we find out it's like a global game night that they're actually running themselves, like that to me is kind of corny.
Well, I mean,
When
it
you
it,
really think
wra-
about
it
it.
wraps into it because I mean, what other reason could you have for going to such great lengths? I mean, the money, yes, the exposure of the organization, but I think that element needed to be in there because I mean, there had to be some point to it.
Yeah, I agree, and I really, off the top of my head, I couldn't think of another point, but I think it just the delivery of it, like, was to me was a bit corny. Especially when it's like, oh yeah, me and my friends, we did something bad, and he's like photoshopping him into the camera footage of like abducting the girl or whatever. Like that to me was just kind of like a bit over the top. Um, but I mean that's a fairly small point to it. Um, it's when we get down to the actual ending where to which there are three, and I wrote down all of them because I watched them all on the Blu-ray. One thing I noted that they have similarities and the same components happen in all three endings, where Damon kills him. Damon's full suicide. Uh, Erica Dunn is planted into Matthias's apartment, which is we find out is an actual real life abducted girl who was on the news as being abducted, and she was missing, and she has had a hole drilled in her head. She's planted in like a cupboard. These are all parts used in all three endings at varying stages. So in some, it's right at the start when it goes into all of the stuff. Um, and it's split up into, especially in the Blu-ray, it tells you who should live. Is how they position the three endings. Who should live? The first is should Matthias live, which is the ending that we see, or that I saw,
Right.
where he's hit the van.
Right.
And with that, we see it where Amaya is told to go to a building, which that's only in that one, where she's told to go in a building. And when she turns up, there's like a chair, and it's like clearly they're going to do some sort of weird live stream torture thing. Erica Dunn's put in his apartment with the whole board in her head, and then a poll pops up on the screen, and it's like, should Matthias live? And people are voting on it, and he's just standing there on his bike in the middle of the road like a dumbass, just sort of start staring off. And once the poll is done, a fucking van comes out of nowhere, smashes him, drills that motherfucker, and then it sort of zooms out, and this is the only time that it breaks that screen life element, where it cuts a bit too far for my liking, and reveals like there's an actual like game night broadcast, a dark web broadcast, and it's like cut into like this guy with like multiple screens, and it's like showing you all these different parts of people who are interacting and like part of the game night.
Right.
So that was the one that I saw on the Blu-ray. That's the one that you saw as well,
That's
right?
the one that I saw. That's the one that's on there.
Right.
The actual screening of it.
Yeah, I think that's the more broad ending. And probably, I think it's probably the second one is probably my least favorite. Where, so this one is, should Matthias and Amaya live? And basically it does they do a poll, and they say yes, and they're basically attacked. Like they meet at the location where they had their first kiss. That's what he tells her in the papaya, the sign language thing. He eventually does sign to her, and he basically tells her to go there, and then they meet and are let go, and then Erica's still at his apartment, still shows you the game night of them doing some sort of shit. But that one's probably my least favorite ending. The most brutal ending for sure is should Amaya live? And basically with that one, there's a lot more to it, where he obviously tells her to go to where they had their first kiss. He shows up, and there's a grave that's been dug. And when he gets there, he's attacked with a shovel. And then when Amaya gets there, the grave has been covered. And it then cuts to... the same thing happens. Erica Dunn comes out of the cupboard. She's got the whole board in her head and shit. Damon's just sitting there watching her that all happen. And Maya shows up, the grave's filled, and Matthias is in a coffin that's been buried, and they have hacked the Skype or Facebook call so that she can't read his lips. It censors the lips whenever he talks and looks into the camera.
Oh, wow.
It's like a filter, so it like censors, so she can't read his lips. So he's trying to tell her, I'm down here, but he doesn't know the sign language for it. I'm underneath, and he's just like, I'm down here, and it's like all like blurred out. And and then it just, that again, all of them have that slow pull where it shows you the big screens and all the game night shit. And with that one, it's just him. He's just like, I can't breathe. I'm going to die. Like, it's definitely more dramatic and more like fucked up, for sure.
I think I would have taken that one because I would have been like, that's what you get for not learning sign language.
Right. That would have been really the prominent point of, you should have been learning your sign language, boy.
Yeah, exactly. Ancient Matthias.
But yeah, and that's really Unfriended Dark Web in a nutshell, with all 3 endings included. Now, apparently, this is the only other movie that was shot and released with multiple endings in different screens. The only other film that did that was Clue, the movie Clue with Tim Curry and
Right.
and all that. So that's the only other film that has that similar type of release where they have multiple endings, but they call out to it because for that it makes sense. I guess with this it kind of makes sense as well because it's game night. Clue is also a game, so I think it's definitely it might be a nod to Clue. Who knows? But yeah, this is the only other film that's released with multiple endings that were released to the general public.
I see. So I was going to say, there's been movies that have alternate endings, but never multiple alternate endings.
Right, and I was thinking to myself, I'm like, Paranormal Activity has multiple endings, but they only released one ending in the theaters. It was the other endings were given on like DVD or Blu-ray releases later,
Right.
As special editions. There was distinctly 2 endings that were delivered, or 2 versions that were given to
Different theaters.
The theaters, yeah. And they were screened randomly. So some
Pretty
people
cool.
got one ending, some people got the other, which to me, I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Because then, like, someone will be like, oh, I guess because you don't want to spoil the ending for someone unless you've spoken to someone that's watched it.
Can you imagine that conversation? Like if it had been 2018 and me and you went to go see it, you saw one ending, I saw the other. I would have told you, like, do you see how it happened at the end where they showed you all the screens at the end like it was a game? And you would have been like, what screens?
Well, see, that's a prominent one within all of them. I think it's if I was like, oh, I can't believe Matthias, died in the end, you'd be like, what?
What do you mean?
I thought they both lived, like that type of thing. But I mean, usually you don't talk about unless it's really that memorable, or unless you're like, oh fuck, I hated the end, and then you're like, oh, I thought it was quite good, and then when you start to talk about it, like that's when you find out. But yeah, like I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing to have. I guess because it's the only other movie that has that. So I mean, to be in a small group like that, and a niche thing, especially for that kind of film, it's definitely something. And it does fall in line with the game aspect for sure, because even within video games you can get like games like Until Dawn and things like that, where they do have multiple branches of stories and endings and things like that. So it definitely it definitely falls into that for sure. I can see it. I don't know. For me, the ending just kind of lacked without that added element of there being multiples. I think it was just kind of like, wah. Overall. Like throughout the whole film, like it was really engaging. It was fun to rewatch it. I think the first Unfriended as well, to me, also suffered the same fate. I didn't like the ending of that either as much. But overall, from a screen life, I think these are definitely some of the best screen life movies out there for people to check out if that's something you're curious on. If you aren't someone that likes movies like Host and Collingswood Story and things like that, these are definitely movies to check out if you haven't already.
Definitely entertaining.
Yeah, for sure. No, entertaining for real. Easy watches as well, because you can just like sit and kind of put it on your if you put it on your laptop, it's definitely the most immersive experience that you'll have. for sure.
I agree.
Yeah.
Very, very interactive. Yeah. So let's go ahead and rate it and see what where we're at on the poll here as far as what we think.
Cool. Yeah. Would you like to go first, or do you want me to go first, David?
No, I'll go first. That's fine.
Cool.
So this movie, it's one of those movies like a comfort movie that I'll put it on if I'm doing something and have it on in the background, stuff like that. But I've always enjoyed this movie, and yes, the ending does fall a bit flat, but it's entertaining for me because at the end, I quite find it hilarious that they ran him down in a van, and you just see his shoe roll off to the side. So I thought that was very funny. So that was very entertaining for me. But overall, the movie was great. I mean, they did a really good job with it. Way to utilize $1 million on the budget. You know, they did a really good job. Very basic, but very effective with everything. I would recommend this movie to anyone. It's definitely a good watch. If you are in the world of found footage, you're getting into it, you want to see something, and this is one I would definitely recommend as kind of like a beginner starter. Just because it's easy to watch, it's easy to absorb, and things like that. So with this one, I'm sitting at 4 tapes with it.
Got it.
I think it's a good score for it because I enjoyed it so much. It's not, by any means, perfect, but very entertaining. So I think it deserves a score 4 for me.
For sure. Yeah, no, that's I think that's a super solid score, to be honest. I'll From my perspective, I'm in the same realm. I would recommend this one to anyone. I actually recommend this one more than the first one, to be honest. I found this one more entertaining and more grounded in reality, where it comes to the found footage elements and certainly the screen life elements, because the dark web is a real thing. Unfriended, the first one is more like paranormal, and that is a bit more of a. There's definitely more drama in the first one for sure. So if you are interested in that, definitely check it out. But this is one I would also highly recommend to people to check out, if they're even just getting into found footage or even just getting into screen life. You'd seen a movie that you liked that was based on that. You just seen Host and you were terrified. This is a good one to watch as well. Some other solid screen life movies that I also enjoy. Spree, of course, is probably my all-time favorite.
Oh yeah.
The Den is now up there. After finally watching it, The Den is definitely up there as well. Unfriended Dark Web's always been a good one of mine, and Collingswood Story's a fun one too. Deadstream most definitely is another one, which is funny because when I first watched it, I was like, "Oh my god, this is a tough one." But I don't think I fully understood the tone when I first watched it. But it's one I grew to love. But yeah, I think for screen life, it's probably one of my favorite types of this found footage subgenre. The fact that knowing what goes into making these is definitely gets it boosted for sure, because it's very labor intensive when it comes to it. Painstakingly, animating all of these, mouse clicks and dragging things and like all of that is just unbelievable. Yeah, the ending kind of fell a bit flat for me. Considering how strong it was up until that point, like the performances I thought were very prominent. Everyone did really well. The story overall was really quite good. For me, I think as well, I think I'm going to give it 4 tapes, and it gets that 4th tape mainly because of the fact that it's screen life and it really sticks to it. It does bug me at the end that it doesn't fully stick to it. Like I think they could have just done it a different way, but that's beside the point. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Let's get the director on the horn. We'll give him a few pointers for the next one.
Well, this was the only film that he directed, like I mentioned earlier. So he fully wanted to do another one, which I always welcome it. I love Screen Life, so I'm always down to see more. Host is obviously like up there, is one of the best. It's considered one of the scariest.
Oh
I
yeah.
saw a list. I saw a list they were posting about it. I think Jed Shepard was posting about it today, that it was considered the second scariest film, next to, it was on something called like Fear Scale or something along those lines. Number one was Sinister.
Oh, Sinister is fucking great, man.
Yeah, I love that movie so much. I'm obsessed with Scott Derrickson. So yeah, that one's number one, and then Host is number two, which is huge. That's massive. That's a great marketing thing. One thing that really pissed me off is number three was Skinamarink, and I'm like, are you fucking joking me?
Oh man, I can't even get past the first 10 minutes in that movie.
That is not scary. Like, I understand that people can really anticipate and really understand the underlying themes, but for me it wasn't scary. It didn't scare me. I was struggling to stay awake.
That's what happened with me. I fell asleep. That's why I said I couldn't watch it for more than
Yeah.
10 minutes, because it was just so slow and boring. I just couldn't get past it. Put me in a coma every time.
Yeah. So that puts it in a bit of a. I don't know what the rating system is for that to be considered the scariest, or the third scariest. But Host and Sinister for sure. I think they deserve to be up there. But yeah, both a double four-ski of the tapes here.
Yeah, I think it was a good score all the way around. I think it's good.
Solid.
It's got a good position. I think it's fair. It could have gone 3 tapes if they had, if he had made other errors along the way, but it was quite enjoyable. So yeah, 4 tapes.
Yeah, no, it's definitely enjoyable, and I think, like the Den has probably surpassed Dark Web for me as one of the better Dark Web adjacent films. Really, really good. So if you haven't checked that, check it out. It just came out in our underrated found footage gems part 18, which I'm amazed that we have gotten to part 18.
Yeah, wait till we get to 96.
Right? Yeah. Hopefully one day we'll get to 96. But yeah, Unfriended Dark Web. But with that, thank you everyone for taking time to listen. Let us know what some of your favorite Screen Life movies are. I'm sure that we have mentioned a considerable amount, but if there's any that we haven't mentioned, I'm always curious about that. I always love hearing what people think are underrated. So that's really the main reason why we put together the Underrated Gems, is to really get that conversation going and really put a light onto other films that some others may just not know about and don't get the love that they deserve. So yeah, let us know some of your underrated Screen Life gems.
Don't be shy now.
Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much. Definitely be sure to follow us on Instagram at We Found a Tape. Check us out on places like TikTok and Facebook. We are on there as well. You can listen to the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts, really, but predominantly Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube is where you're going to find us and see our lovely faces.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us on this episode. Don't go on the dark web unless you're going to order a tiger. And when you order that tiger, send me cute pictures of it, okay? And don't forget, be kind and rewind. We'll catch you on the next one.